my thing was this, and like going off what Bang was saying, it's the producers. It really is lazy. Like today, Mike Greenberg said, you know, DC is a better situation for um for Caleb Williams than the Bears, because if the Bears do good in year one, then Shane Waldron, who just became the OC, will now leave to become a head coach somewhere, and now Caleb will have to learn a new system, not knowing like the intricacies of what Ryan Poles did this year and setting up his coaching staff with a clear succession plan, and Thomas Brown, and being able to have people that work together. Like to me, that's what gets me the most frustrated is context matters and the information matters. Like I understand that a producer comes and drops a sheet with these are the most important things we need to talk about, but like you got to really do your fucking homework, because if Shane Waldron leaves, that is a problem that us Bears fan want. That means that we were fucking putting up points and we were actually relevant. And Ryan Poles showed clear competency, and I really like salute him in going and getting a Thomas Brown and going and getting a Kerry Joseph, somebody who's up and coming. Like these are people that if Shane Waldron were to dip, they can fall up in that next spot and Caleb won't miss a beat. The language will stay the same, the verbiage will stay the same, the face will stay the same. So I just felt like there was is what Scott always says, that Bears text. Everything that they were saying about DC, number 2 pick, cap space, all this bullshit. We got
Is that okay? I thought my shit was tweaking.
You said we got.
Yeah, I was like, hold on. I was like, did this rain knock my shit out? Okay, we're gonna get Mikey back in a minute. But to basically, piggyback off what he was saying,
you gotta leave that phone. You gotta leave him right there too. That's just hilarious, right there.
basically, what we were getting at is with, and this is the thing I want to say about Matt Eberflus, and I'm not gonna sit up here and say like this man is a great coach or anything. But I kind of feel like he gets too much shit. And the reason I say is this: like, yes, could they have won 10 games this year? Was there a lot of decisions that could have been better? Were there, do I think he should have been fired? 100%. But I don't like this idea that he's like the worst coach out there. Like, he showed improvement. Now, is it enough to keep his job? No, I'd have fired the nigga and gave Jim Harbaugh a blank fucking check. That's what I would have did. But I don't think he's this guy that's just like terrible either, and that they just automatically think he's going to be the reason this team stinks next year. That's the problem I have with it as well. And it's just like with the DC thing, this is why the DC thing is crazy to me. And this leads into our next topic. And the DC thing is crazy to me because it doesn't really matter. That situation isn't going to get better. If you're talking about organizations that have stink, they have the most stink off the Daniel Snyder stink, if we're talking about. And let's just say that they do put together a godfather offer to get Caleb Williams. Let's just play in that world real quick that happens. They're going to have so many things that they're going to have to give up that it's going to be a worse situation for Caleb than it would have been in Chicago. And we saw exactly how that played out in Carolina with Bryce Young, with them trading his best receiver. The receiver would have helped him get better than how he is right now. So if you're going to do that, that doesn't serve Caleb whatsoever. If I'm Caleb, if I'm Caleb's father, you got to be thinking about that. I don't see how that is such a better situation. I mean, Dan Quinn has a lot of shit to prove as well. Yeah, he won the Super Bowl. That was also 7 fucking years ago. He has more shit to prove from that. You got an offensive coordinator, Kliff Kingsbury. Look, let's be real. There's a reason why Kliff Kingsbury got fired from the Arizona Cardinals. That's an unproven thing as well. So if you're looking like the health of situations, now I know the national media is not paying attention to how things are going on with the Chicago Bears in the Ryan Poles era. It's very evident by that. But you're not going to find a situation for a number 1 overall draft pick that is better than what the Bears have right now. If you look at what they did with Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia to make him get better, they went out there and traded for AJ Brown. If you look out there what they did for Tua and also Josh Allen, they traded for Stephon Diggs, traded for Tyreek Hill. There's already a receiver there for him and fucking DJ Moore. So you got DJ Moore. You got a defense that's really good. You got a team that could have been in the playoffs on paper last year. And you add him to that with a coaching staff Well, the coaching staff has been well put together, something that I've never said in Bears history. A coaching staff that has been well put together. You got that. And on top of that, you got a top pick. You got to pick 8 picks later to even add to that. So the fact that Washington is even in the same boat of a better situation is asinine to me. And that's why I say what's unfair. We're going to use the same bullet points for the Chicago Bears. We need to be doing the same thing with the Washington Commanders. When the last time them niggas been shit? Last time they won a Super Bowl was literally like 2 years after the Bears. It's the same fucking thing. When the last time they even been to? The Bears have been to more conference championship games since the last time that the Commanders even made a conference championship game. So that's what I'm saying. The Bears text. Maybe this is my fan talking, but I feel like the Bears, that national media gets a kick out of saying the Bears ain't shit. And I just really don't know how they're gonna act when this team is actually good. And that's the kind of shit that I say, well, or somebody else. Go ahead, man.
I could tell you what it's gonna be. I can tell you what that shit gonna look like. It's gonna be, oh my God, this is a pillar franchise, one of the most iconic franchises in the NFL. They have sustained success and all of this. Oh man, all roads to Ace, the third biggest market. Yada 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 yada. That's what that shit's gonna look like, fam. And I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. But yes, that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna be all on their nuts, and all of a sudden they're gonna be a premier charter franchise of the NFL. It's the same thing with the Blackhawks. Blackhawks the same way. Niggas was shitting on the Blackhawks and that thing. Then when Kane and them came through, it was like, oh man, charter franchise, original 6, all of those things in the NHL. They was all on their nuts when they was going on that run. Same shit.
Well, I'm gonna let Mikey finish his point because he got cut off from the internet. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, that's what I get for talking all that shit about the rain. It's raining outside right now. Fucking AT&T internet went out, but no, it was you was finishing my point. Just basically like the Commanders ain't been shit, so it's definitely a Bears tax. And I just think everybody needs to kind of, it's hard to, but they just need to tune out the noise. And as long as Ryan Poles does his job, he still has to go through these evaluations. Like we said, it's a job interview. So there's an opportunity. There's not a very high chance, but there is a chance that he goes through all of the testing. He goes through all of his background work that that they say that these guys have private investigators that do, mounds of research on these players and see what they're doing, who they hang out with, who they like to, where they like to go, who they fucking, all types of shit. When Ryan Poles does his homework and he sits down and he meets with Caleb Williams and he brings him to Chicago for his visit, if he says he doesn't, if he doesn't feel comfortable, then cool. But I think at the end of the day, the Bears still control the draft. The Bears still control this situation. Caleb Williams has proven nothing. I can understand the Manning family wanting, Eli Manning when he came in and kind of saying that he wasn't, going to play for the Chargers. Like, that's the first family of the NFL. They be on their dick. They're white for one. So they had all the leverage. Caleb Williams don't got no leverage. And at the end of the day, it's well documented. His father's goal is, regardless, for him to be the number 1 pick. The Bears can control that. So I just think, we just gotta let everything play out how it is and go from there. It's tough. It's tough because everybody wants something now, but you got to go through the process. And I think in the end, Caleb Williams is going to go to Chicago on his visit. He's going to meet with everybody. He's going to meet with Waldron. He's going to see the innovative things that they can do on offense that fits his skill set. And he's going to see the city and he's going to fuck with it. Who doesn't love the city?
That paper on this player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna